There you see the pride of Pay and Pack, driven by Billy Shoemaker, coasting into the pier after winning Heat 2A. Now total 700 points. That's Van Lines was second in Heat 2A for 700 points. This is the Litz Budweiser with a stacked fire. Dean Chenoweth trying to ease it away from the pier and out onto the river for Heat 2B. And this one ought to be a hot one because the Madison, Budweiser, Atlas, Van Lines, and Notre Dame are all in it. Let's get a word from Bill Muncy down on the dock just before he goes out for Heat 2B.
This is the situation at this point. I got to go out and try, and it'd be nice if I can win the heat, but we're in awfully good shape. I don't want to blow anything. I want to make sure I run at least second because it's an all-day race. I got 2 more heats to go, so I'll go out and go for the first if I can get it easily without bringing anything. If I have to pull a second, I'll be delighted to do that.
All right, Bill, thank you. That gentleman there with Bill Muncy is Lee Shaneth, who owns the boat. Bill is driving. And while we are waiting for the field for Heat 2B to get out onto the river, let's go back and look at the rerun of Heat 1A. There in the center of the picture, you have the Atlas, driven by Bill Muncy, the Budweiser running right along with him. And as they come to that first turn, they get to the posture off the start that has produced some contentious conversation having to do with the accident that stopped the original start of 1A. Now let's freeze our picture to give you some idea of what we're talking about. Here on the left side of the picture is Bill Muncy in the Atlas. On the right side, the Budweiser. And even though they are both bouncing and hurtling along at 140 miles an hour, you can see as Muncy starts his turn here, the rerun of 1A, he still leaves room enough for the Budweiser to get by. In other words, an open lane of water. That's what the rule book says you got to do. Muncy went on to take 400 points in the heat. In the Pay and Pack took 300 points, coming in second place, driven by Billy Shoemaker. And is very much in it, as we told you a moment ago. And the Notre Dame, with Billy Sterrett, took third place for 225 points, Shirley McDonald's boat. And the Budweiser was towed back to the pits, did not finish, and did not get any points. So the defending champion is not having a good day. All right, now that we have looked back, let's look ahead to Heat 2B. And as the clock spins around to blackout and the field for 2B comes hurtling towards the starting line, it's Miss Madison with Jim McCormick, Miss Budweiser, Dean Chenoweth, Atlas Van Lines, one with Bill Muncy, and Notre Dame with Bill Sterrett. The gun, and here they go. Miss Budweiser inside, Notre Dame in lane 2, Bill Muncy in lane 3. On the run for the first turn. And it's Miss Madison well outside and not in the picture right now. On the right side is Budweiser. In the middle is Notre Dame. And on the left side of the picture is the Atlas. And they're coming up on the first turn. Look out, the Notre Dame, caught in the middle, goes bouncing through Bill Muncy's rooster tail and slows down. The Budweiser has slowed down in the first turn. The Atlas on through successfully. The Madison comes around and makes it through all right. The Notre Dame is settling down and has gone dead in the water. There goes the Madison by it. The Budweiser is restarting and getting back into it. Meantime, the Atlas with Bill Muncy has gone on down and headed into the next turn. This Madison has now moved up into second place and is really moving. There's Lee Shaneth, the owner of the lead boat, Atlas, right now. He may be a little bit concerned about what happened and what caused this particular boat right here to go dead in the water, the Notre Dame. Billy Sterrett's trying to get it up and moving again. And let's go back here and take a quick look at what did happen down there, see if we can pick it out. That's the Atlas with Muncy on the left, Billy Sterrett and the Notre Dame in the middle, Dean Chenoweth in the Budweiser on the right. Now, here they start to make the turn. Question is, and I'm sure a question in the mind of all of the officials, did Bill Muncy chop the Notre Dame and force him to run through that wall of water in the rooster tail and almost take a dip? Or was there room? Was the Notre Dame going too fast and not able to make the turn? I frankly don't think that the Budweiser was involved in any washing down there or any chopping, but meantime, the Atlas continues to tool around the course, and we're waiting for some indication as to whether or not the course judge is going to make a judgment at this point. That is the Madison now running in second place and slowing down as Jim McCormick moves through the turn. The Notre Dame is still sitting down there trying to get it going. Billy Sterrett's still pumping away, but Jim McCormick doesn't want to come through there too hot and go banging into it. So as the Madison pulls out onto the straightaway, the Budweiser is up and running now in third place. It's Atlas, Madison, Budweiser, and everybody waiting for the Notre Dame. And Sterrett still banging away at it, and looks like he may get it going this time. And he brings it up into the planing position, so the Notre Dame is running again and in fourth spot. Well, here we are, waiting for the judgment. You have the man sitting in a little boat down there in that first turn called the course judge, who reports to the referee, Bill Newton. And so far, we have not had the word on any kind of a decision involving this man, Bill Muncie, driving the Atlas Van Lines #1 and leading at this point in Heat 2B. Miss Madison is running in second place. But the telephone lines are busy, and here comes the word. The word is that Bill Muncie is going to be penalized 1 lap for chopping the Notre Dame. So that puts this boat, Miss Madison, in first place. And when the word gets around the beach that Madison is now leading in Heat 2B, that crowd will wake up. More than 100,000 people have gathered in this little community of some 13,000, and they love everything about their boat. So Bill Muncie in the Atlas Van Lines 1 is now actually running in third place because of the 1 lap penalty. And again, Rule 35 of the rule book states very clearly that you must give 3 boat lengths of open water or freedom to the trailing boat before you initiate a turn. And in the judgment of the course judge, it was not done. And as a result of that decision from on the course, the referee has penalized Bill Muncie 1 lap, which drops him out of first place. So Miss Madison, if Jim McCormick keeps it where it is, will pick up 400 big points. And at the end of Heat 2B, we'll have 700 tying him in points with Pay It Pack and Atlas Van Lines 2. At the end of 2 heats, the checkered flag goes down, and Miss Madison totals 700 points. The Budweiser is going to take second place, 300 points, because the Budweiser did not finish its first heat. And here comes the Atlas Van Lines floating to the pier now as Bill Muncie is out of the helmet. He gets the thumbs down sign from one of his crew members. The indication is that he was penalized the extra lap, had to go around again, and I think that you see a very unhappy man. So Bill Muncie a bit disgusted with what has happened to him out on the race course today. He has been involved in 2 very exciting moments of unlimited hydroplane racing. The Notre Dame is coming in, and the order of finish in Heat 2B. Miss Madison wins it, total 700 points for the 2 heats. Miss Budweiser has second place, Atlas Van Lines is third, and the Notre Dame finishes fourth. And we'll be back with more from Madison, Indiana, and the Gold Cup race in a moment. You're watching the Gold Cup race on ABC's Wide World of Sports. We're waiting for the start of Heat 3A. At the outset, we showed you a brief history of this event. Let's spend some time right now with Guy Lombardo, a man who won this event 25
in America and its entertainment habits. It must have been a little disquieting to a lot of other people. Myself, I know I was a little disturbed to hear that you were screaming around on water in a race boat at 100-plus miles an hour and winning most of the major trophies. Did you ever have a serious wreck?
I did have one, Keith, in Detroit. Luckily, I got out fairly well. I had a broken arm and all that. But considering all the races and all the times I was in a race boat, I think I was above the average. I had less of a problem than anyone else. Of course, I always tried to do it the safe way. I saw that my equipment was properly set up. Because these boats do take a terrible beating. When you're running around 150 miles an hour down these straightaways, everything has to be pretty well glued together.
You know, physical endurance, a lot of people say, well, he's just driving a boat around or he's just driving a car around or whatever, but there's an element of physical endurance, and particularly in a 60-mile race like this.
Well, as a matter of fact, from 1946, when I started driving Unlimiteds, my neck size, my shoulder size, my neck size went from 14 and a half to 16 and a half in 1 year. That's a tremendous physical effort because, after all, you can't strap yourself in the boat. You have to build yourself into the boat. You have to have something to press you against the back seat so that you're secure. But if the boat flips, you have to get out. There's no such thing as being strapped in.
Now, when you raced, though, you were still, back in 46 when you won and was running the tempo, you still used seatbelts. Some of them did, not?
No. No, we didn't. And I was against it, and I warned the other fellas about it, and a couple of the boys were hurt on account of the seatbelts. Matter of fact, one of my very best friends went out of a boat. He took the seat with him, and the guy's tank was underneath the thing. So he had a pretty close call, and that tipped the other fellows off that seatbelts are not for race boats. You can build yourself into the boat so that you're secure without having that danger of a seatbelt.
A man like yourself who has won the top prize in unlimited racing, the Gold Cup, I guess you never really ever will forget it, will you?
No, I dare say, Keith, that was the biggest thrill of my life. And, I've had a lot of wonderful thrills, being a band leader, and we played everywhere, and had a lot of wonderful things. But I think when I won the Gold Cup, that was a crowning achievement of my whole life.
Guy Lombardo, whose Temple won the Gold Cup in 1946, and we're delighted to have him back on shore watching with us. Here we go now with the field for Heat 3A. Miss Budweiser, Dean Chenoweth driving, 300 points. Town Club, Fred Alter, 394. Atlas Fan Lines 1, Bill Muncie, the driver, 625 points. And this Timex, Ron Larson driving, 169 points. The Atlas Fan Lines 1 with Bill Muncie has the greater number of points in this particular heat. And remember, the 5 boats with the greatest number of points will be the 5 boats that will go into that final heat for the Gold Cup. And here they come boiling down for the start of Heat 3A. It is Budweiser, it is Atlas, it is Town Club, it is Timex. And Budweiser is across first, with Atlas running second, Town Club third, and Timex is in fourth spot as they thunder towards the first turn. And Budweiser has a clear lead in the turn. Coming to the outside is the Atlas Fan Lines 1 with Bill Muncie in second spot. Now they start the acceleration up the back straight. The Budweiser, having won the Gold Cup in 1969 and 70. The Atlas taking a run at the Bud now on the long straight. Up around 150, maybe 160 miles an hour. And the Atlas bouncing, banging, and something is torn loose. So the Atlas Fan Lines 1 is in trouble. The right side of the boat looks like a sponson has ripped off. Water spewing up. The Budweiser pulls well out, but that should bring out the red flares and the red flags. And there they are. And the race has been stopped. And when you lose that much of your boat, that suddenly, obviously, you've got a hole in it, and there you see the result. Bill Muncie is still in the cockpit. There is no fire, no apparent danger to him, but the boat is sinking. He tried to run it as far as he could over towards shore so that if it does sink, it'll sink in shallow water, making it much easier to get it out. So right here, you're about to watch a piece of machinery that's valued at least at $100,000 sink silently and slowly beneath the blue surface of the Ohio River. And so as Bill Muncie takes to the water for a short swim, and his boat settles to the bottom, the race has been stopped. Well, I got to say this, that Bill Muncie has shown us a lot of class. He stopped an argument by sinking his boat. We'll be back to talk with him right after this.